Hi, everyone. My colleague Paul Foster is handing out copies of the PowerPoint presentation. So if you wanted to jot down notes while this is going on, it's just bare bones, but I'm going to be adding a lot of information that you'll see on the slides. So my focus is going to be transferable skills. Sometimes they're called soft skills. Basically, all of the skills that aren't, you have your education, you have your actual experience. Transferable skills are anything that carries on to the next job and would be valued by a potential employer. So that includes a lot. And when we look at anyone who comes into our employment agency, we look at their skill set. Okay, their skills inventory. You can call it whatever you like, but basically it's the transferable skills that they have gained through their education, through their experience, and this is what you need to focus on when you are tailoring your resume for potential employers. So what we do, there's a couple of different processes that we recommend. The way I put it here is state, demonstrate, and focus on the position. So I'm going to focus on tailoring a resume. So you're going to state your skills, you're going to demonstrate those skills, and you're going to focus on the position that you're applying for. Okay, so a lot of people come in and they have a resume. And it's kind of a catch-all resume. What we do is try to get people to tailor that resume to a specific job. Okay, even if it's in the same field. Every workplace is different, every employer is different, and the employer expectations in each of the industries is different, so we try to tailor it as much as possible to what the employers are expecting. Okay, so what you have to start with then is your own skills inventory. Okay, the inventory of your own skills, making your list of skills, and what we tell people to do is brainstorm. Use everything. Okay, you're not going to put everything on your resume, but you do need to look at all of your skill sets, all of your transferable skills, and make a master list. So I'm going to just refine that a little bit. So basically, what you want to do is think accomplishments and experience, and then you want to derive the skills from that. So I've got some examples here. So for example, this is a younger person, a student may or may not have a lot of work experience. So their accomplishment or experience would be assisting with minor hockey league registrations every year. So this is probably a volunteer position, probably not a paid position. He leads hockey drills and provides team and schedule information to parents. Okay, so a lot of people come in, they don't have a lot of work experience, but even a volunteer experience it has a skill set attached to it, and you can draw those transferable skills out. So basically the transferable skills that you can derive from that accomplishment would be communication, organization, leadership, team building, customer service, community involvement, that you're athletic and energetic. Okay, so again, when you are going through this process, the good thing about it is that it prepares you to compose a resume, but then it also prepares you for your interview. So when you're working backwards, basically you're looking at your accomplishment experience, you're deriving those skills, then you're paring down those skills to match the job that you're looking for, and then when you're preparing for the interview, you can go back to your skills list and say, oh, okay, I said I had communication skills. How do I prove that? How do I justify that to the employer and tell them that in the interview? Well, because you have your accomplishment. You talk about that specific accomplishment. So you're kind of preparing for your resume, and then you're preparing for your interview at the same time if you go through this process. So another example, and I'm using this example because a lot of people, especially youth that come in, they don't have a lot of experience. Sometimes it's just babysitting or landscaping or mowing lawns in the neighborhood. So this is another example to derive skills. Worked for a landscaping company over the past 2 summers. Weather was work dependent. Sunny days were long days up to 12 hours. Hard manual labor, installing fences, lock, stone beautification. The work was time sensitive, and work had to be completed as quickly as possible to get all projects done. Homeowners were often on site or present at the end of the job to inspect the work. So again, when you're identifying the things that you've done, I mean, I just did landscaping, or I just did mowing lawns, and be really specific, itemize everything that you've done to pull out those skills, those transferable skills that are going to go on your resume. So hardworking, productive and efficient, dedicated, creative, take pride in your work, able to accomplish a diverse set of tasks on time to client standards. So again, deriving those skills, what you want to do is word them in a way that you would find on a resume. So from your accomplishment, you're deriving those skills. So I've got an example too of someone with a little bit more experience and how you would derive skills from a volunteer program. So this woman coordinated a volunteer program for a nonprofit organization. She was responsible for putting together a communications package, tracking volunteer hours and schedules, and recruiting. Directly supervised all volunteers to complete the project on budget and on time. Okay? So this person, transferable skills would be project management, communications and marketing, responsible for supervision, self-motivated, numeracy skills, and accountable. Okay? That's not an exhaustive list. But again, when you are looking at deriving skills, focus on the accomplishment and see what skills you can derive from that. The other experience that this person has, taught English as a second language in Japan for 1 year, chaired curriculum review committee, and made recommendations to administration. So again, risk taker, analytical, ability to motivate and lead in the workplace, ability to bridge cultural barriers, world traveler, successful liaison between staff and administrators. Okay? So again, linking this and then pulling out the skills is a pretty simple process, but when it gets really useful is when you link it to the actual position you're applying for. Okay? So listing your accomplishments is a good idea. Deriving some skills is a good idea. But then what you need to do is pull the position that you're applying for in, look at the qualifications that those employers are looking for, and tie that all together. Okay, so I'm jumping ahead a little bit. So what I wanted to also make clear is that when you are doing your resume, what we often start with, and what I have on my own resume, is a highlights of skills section. So you're kind of itemizing the things that you're bringing to the table right off the bat. So your education, the education that you have, the experience that you have, and the transferable skills that match the qualification. So what you want to do in that list is not just say strong communication skills, analytical. What you want to do is you want to qualify them. You want to qualify them concisely and really briefly, just right off the top. So strong leadership skills, leadership Thunder Bay graduate. Okay, you're putting that in parentheses, but right off the bat, I believe you more because there's something that qualifies it, right? I know that, yes, you do indeed have those leadership skills because there's some qualification there. Committed to safety on the job. First aid, CPR certified, safe food handling 2001. So again, what you're doing is you're qualifying what you have very briefly, and then I'm looking at those skills and I know what that's based on. I know that you actually have that. And certainly further on in the resume, you're going to qualify it even more with your experience and your outlining of the job duties that you had. Organized, assisted with Mayor's Walk event planning 2009 and 10. Punctual and reliable. So these kinds of soft skills, the punctual, reliable, responsible, easily trained, also need some qualification. Newspaper delivery by 8 a.m. daily to 35 households, 2006 to 2008. So that's something that qualifies that and justifies it. So finally, what you want to do is match the skills to the position. Okay, so basically what this position example is shipping and inventory control. So if the job posting qualifications has a certain wording, try to match that wording wherever possible, okay? Because it's probably attached to the jargon or the language that the employer is used to. Don't match it identically, you know, have some kind of play in the wording, but what you want to do is have it make sense to the employer that yes, you do indeed have those qualifications and they match the kind of language that they're setting out for you. So if they're looking for someone detail-oriented, able to read, understand, and follow a story. Inventory and restocking schedule. We don't even know what that is, right? You're not familiar with their restocking schedule, but what you want to do is prove that you have that. You are detail-oriented and you can probably follow what they're talking about here. So skills inventory, organized and detail-oriented, and your qualification there is converted all client paper files to electronic database for a law office. Okay, so because I'm detail-oriented and I have that experience, the employer is probably going to believe that you can actually follow that store inventory and restocking schedule because you've done something, you know, at that same level of detail. Numeracy skills they're asking for. Strong numeracy skills, straight A math student, okay? So that's one qualification, but if you can prove it with cashier experience, or that you close out, or that you do a budget through Excel, any kind of qualification there is going to prove those numeracy skills. And finally, professional work ethic and communication skills is what they're looking for. I've itemized two different things. So again, what you want to do is probably elaborate that on that, because professional work ethic and communication skills are two separate entities, and it encompasses a lot. So what you want to do is elaborate on your own skills and qualify them to show that you have both of those qualifications. So I chose highly dedicated, worked evenings and weekends to complete file transfer by deadline, and good communicator, acted as liaison between lawyers, clients, and administrative staff. Okay? So basically what we're doing here is going through your list of accomplishments, deriving the skills from those accomplishments, and then looking at the job posting or the qualifications that are being asked for by the employer, and using your skills inventory to try to match that wording and prove that you have the qualifications asked for. Okay, so it's a little bit of a process to go through, but again, like I said, once you go through that process, when you go back to practice for the interview, or to prepare for the interview, which you will get if you do your resume, in that employer-focused way, then you will be able to go back and say and qualify all of the skills that you've listed by elaborating on your accomplishments and talking about them in the interview. Okay? All right. Thanks for your attention.